Is going to trigger a lot of white people, but I don't care. I think that white people actually suffer from inferiority complex. And so the reason why they have always been trying to prove themselves as superior, controlling, colonize, steal from cultures, accaparate, appropriate other cultures is because, first of all, they've been unable to keep their own cultures. They've destroyed, they've ruined their own practices, their own spirituality, their own forms of wisdom. And so they try to steal that from other cultures and other people because they just were unable to accept that their culture was devoid of actual wisdom. Their barbarity and cruelty destroyed their own essence and souls. And so they try to reclaim that by coming into other cultures and trying to steal that from other cultures and trying to instaure this sort of supremacy and white excellence in order to dominate the narrative. But in reality, they are the ones that at the core are just so small and materialistic and devoid of culture and barbaric in their self-expression and in the way that they connect with life, with Mother Nature, with other cultures and other people. They destroyed their own souls and they have nothing to connect to, nothing divine, nothing magical, nothing whimsical, nothing spiritual to connect to. And so they try to push this narrative of materialism, of atheism, of capitalism, all of that in order to secure themselves in their emptiness, in their nothingness. And they try to force that onto other cultures. And when it didn't work, well, they just started stealing the knowledge of other cultures, the other spiritual forms of other cultures, the magic, and created some new age BS in order to reclaim something, to feel something, but it's just not real and it's not a real essence. Like, they just are devoid of that because of their inferiority complex. This video is going to trigger a lot.
Alright, hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Alright, first I'll give honors to. I'm gonna face the east. Alright. First, I'm gonna give honors to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakah Kadash. Got honors to the elders apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to all my fellow Akim Akwat out there. Shocking. Got a text that follow Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai with truth and sincerity. I'd like to say shalom. The title of this video is gonna be called White People Are the Edomites, or the Edomites are so-called white people. And that is the Caucasian man, woman, and child. And let me say this, not all white people go back to Esau, Edom. All right, a lot of you go back to Jake, all right, the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indies, and Haitians on their father's lineage. Okay, so you got a lot of white people that are actually Israelites, but those Caucasian individuals that go back to Esau, Edom by their bloodline, by their father's bloodline, they are the Edomites. And what this girl been talking about is all the characteristics and traits that Edomites have. You know, they have no culture, they have no spirituality, they have no wisdom, because they are the Edomites. They are the most hated people on the planet. And where they go, they appropriate and take other cultures. And that's what they're supposed to do, because they're the wicked, according to the scriptures. See, every culture, even though, you got the heathens, but still, even the heathens don't have no spirituality, but they have a form of naturalness to them. Okay? But Esau, Edom, he's the basis of men. Okay? Okay, that's why they. Let me go to the scripture. Let me go to the comments. And I was just reading, and a lot of people were making good points. It says they have unnatural and anti-human beliefs, such as disliking children but revering and worshiping dogs. He's lamenting about their declining birth rates. I can barely stand them. Oh, this. They are Edomites. They are made to be evil. It's crazy, but it's true. And this person right here is right. I don't know who this person is, but they got the wrong name, but they are the Edomites according to the scriptures. It says they have all, this it says, they have all the materialistic things, but somehow they always mad. They live such unfulfilling lives and get them so mad that people will have nothing to get to be happy. Capitalism is their God. Okay. It says, this is what this movie Sinners is talking about. This person right here, I read this comment 3 times. OS Supervillain says, I have white friends. This isn't racist. Having lived with a white housemates in multicultural house, I was surprised how selfish and ungenerous they were. It says, we naturally share food. They fear they'll lose out if they do. They don't understand the concept of sharing and generosity. They are not communal, but egotistical and competitive, right? And that's the Edomites. All right, the basis of men. Now, actually, let me go to their forefather Esau. Okay, this is Genesis 25 and 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations. Okay, this is Isaac's wife. All right, Isaac was the father of Jacob, and this is what the Lord said to Isaac's wife, Rebekah. 23, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are born in thy womb. All right, 2 nations are in thy womb. So Rebekah is like asking the Lord, like, why I'm struggling with 2 children in my womb. I'm gonna go to 22. It says, and the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. 23, and the Lord said unto her, how about Shem Yahushai? Said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. It says, 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. The one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger, right? So you have Jacob and Esau. Jacob was the forefather, okay, of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, West Indies, and Haitians. That's why so-called black people, okay, so-called Latino people, they dominate every sport. They dominate music. They dominate, and not just their musical skills, but they dominate cooking. They do everything better than all the other nations. Why? They're better dancers, better singers, better cooks, better athletes, musicians. Why is that? Because they're stronger than the other, and that other is Esau, Edom. And Esau is the father of the Caucasian race. Okay? So-called white people lineage go back to Esau, Edom. They are the Edomites because they're born red. So Jacob came out melanated and beautiful. Esau came out red and pale-skinned. Okay, Esau had no pigmentation. 24, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, but behold, there were twins in her womb. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and it says, and they called his name Esau, right? And in Hebrew, that's Esau's Joshua means wasted away. Okay, so Esau came out red. He came out red, man. That's why when you see white people, they get mad, they turn red. When they get happy, they turn red. When you slap the shot of them, their face turn red because they don't have no pigmentation. They're translucent. Their skin, their blood is shown through their skin. Okay, but they made that into a white superiority. That blonde hair and blue eyes is the pinnacle of human beauty. No, it isn't. Every race of people on this planet has some melanin and pigmentation. Even the so-called even Asian people, even though they're lighter skinned, they have a form of pigmentation and melanin. Okay, and you're supposed to have that. Okay, when Adam and Eve were created, and alongside with the Adamites, they all had very darker skin, like dark black skin, or darkish brown skin, man. So you're supposed to have pigmentation. It says after that came his brother out and took the hold on Esau's hand, and his name was called Jacob, right? And Jacob is the progenitor, the father of the so-called blacks, so-called African Americans, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, and Caribbean Islanders, Central and South Americans, so-called. But those are the Israelites that I just named, so-called black, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. All right, it says and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew. Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, right? Esau always loved hunting. He'll hunt every animal on the planet and wear the skin of that animal as clothing. All right, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents, right? Jacob is a plain man, like he likes to chill. Jacob likes to, relax. Jacob will work, but Jacob, what do a black person call their house when they when they get off of work? The crib. They're gonna relax, because that's in our spirit. And Isaac loved Jacob because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. I'm sorry. Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. All right. So, hey, man, these Edomites are the so-called white people according to the Bible. That's why they have that red skin. That's why they're very hairy red bodies, man, because they're the Edomites. Like that archetype, the caveman or Neanderthal, that's not no actual, the Neanderthal existed 2.8 million years ago. No, those are the Edomites during the time when Israel was ruling the Byzantine Empire. When I mean Israel, I'm not talking about the country Israel. I'm speaking the true Israel, the Israelites, starting with the southern kingdom, which is the Negroid tribes, so-called African Americans, Haitians, Jamaicans, and West Indies, when they were ruling Europe in the Middle Ages for 1,000 years. All right, those Caucasians, they lived in the caves. That's why they're called Caucasian. Just means cave dweller. I mean, dweller from the cliffs. Dwell. Cliff. Rock. This is Job, and Job was a so-called black man according to the scriptures. He was a melanated person. All right, this is Job 30:1. But now it says, but now they are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I will have disdain to set with the dogs of my flock. Right, Esau is so defiled that Job didn't even want he didn't even want his dogs to be near these Edomites, because these Edomites, so-called white people, they love their dogs so much that there's a lot of cases of Edomites fucking their dogs, man. And that sound crazy, but that's the truth. I witnessed this myself, man. Little testimony in high school, it was a popular video of a girl getting hammered by a dog. And I was in the world, and that was wicked. Even in the world, I was like, hey, what the fuck? I felt bad for the dog than the girl, man, because why the fuck why would you lead a dog, an animal, to do something crazy like that, man? Because all animals, they're righteous. So, I felt more bad for the dog than the girl. The girl was out of her fucking mind. 2, yea, says whereunto might yea, whereunto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine, they were solitary, fleeing to the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their fruits, right, for their meat, right. So when, so-called white people back then in the ancient world, thousands of years ago, before they had their primary kingdoms like Greece and Rome, they were very barbaric people. All right, they would eat tree roots and berries. Okay, that's where you have the character of the Neanderthal or the caveman, because though they were actually cavemen. Okay, it says they were driven forth from among men. They cried after him as after a thief. Right. When you watch these caveman movies, what they make, because they couldn't really talk, so they actually sound like screaming animals, man. But they were willing to call us inferior. It's the 6 to dwell in the cliffs of the rocks, in the caves of the earth, and the rock and in the rocks, right? That's why they got the name Caucasian, because it means cave dweller. Amongst the bushes they bred, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were violent in the earth, right? And like old girl said in this video, white people have no spirituality, no culture, because they are the Edomites. As this person said, they're the Edomites. Okay.
Why am I so ugly?
Beautiful, man.
Every day, I stare into
Edomite. That's how Edomites look like, man. No lips. We got the blonde hair and blue eyes, but look at us like we're inferior. No, you're inferior.
the mirror, pondering.
Beast.
Look how red this man is, man.
Happy birthday, buddy.
And also, that's another thing they state. Let me go back to Genesis real quick. Genesis. I meant to read that part. Let me see, Esau. This is Genesis 25 and 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field. He was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, right, and red meat. White people love they meat red, man. All right? Every black person that you ask, how would you like they meat? They be like, well done, or well cooked, or medium, what's it called? Medium rare, or medium well, I think that's called. But, most of the time it's well done. Okay? So Esau, he'll eat that shit. Look like he'll eat a steak that's pink and bloody on the outside and the inside. It'll be cooked on the top, but be red as hell in the center, man. Because he's the Edomite. There's Edomites that don't even cook these steak or their meat. They just eat that shit raw. Because they're the Edomites, man. The Lord gave them no pigmentation, no flavor, no nothing. No spirituality, no form of connection to the earth. That's why everywhere they go, they destroy everything, because they have no form of connection to life. These other nations, they don't have no form of spirituality. But my thing is, they have a form of naturalism to them. They just need to be corrected. But Esau, he's out of the fucking line, man. It says, right. It says, I prayed thee with the same red pottage, for I am faint. It says, therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. He did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So that's right. That's why the so-called white man hates the so-called black Latino, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, Caribbean Islander man, woman, and child. Because our forefather Jacob, Esau sold the birthright to us. And it was all through design of the Most High. So this is not really, just on a plain level, but on a heavenly level, on a spiritual level. This is orchestrated through the spirit power of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. That's why Esau, the so-called white man, hates the so-called black man, because he sold his birthright. He was tricked. And he's doing everything to get it back, and he's never going to get it back. This has all been orchestrated through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. It's Obadiah 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord of Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and the bastard is set among the heathen. Arise ye, let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee. Thus saith, it says, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence I'll bring me down, saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's right. All right. And they're the smallest among the heathen. Esau, Edom, they claim to be the most populated people on the planet, but they're dying out. Okay? And they dwell from the cliffs of the rocks, so-called white people. And it says whose habitation is high. That's why they build these high-ass skyscrapers, because they exalt themselves as the eagle. And everywhere Esau goes, their symbol is the eagle. In Greece, they were the eagle. In Rome, they were the eagle. Italy, Spain, Portugal, France, and America is the eagle. So that's the symbol of the Edomites. So you Edomites, y'all kingdom is finished, man. Okay? The Edomites are the so-called white people today. Shalom.